All right, everybody, welcome to another GLP's 10 out of 10, where we ask designers from around the globe the same 10 questions, have some fun with the answers, and let's get at it. So this week we have Emmanuelle Gigi Pedron, who is a conservatory and lighting designer for Queens of the Stone Age, My Chemical Romance, Jack White, At the Drive-In, Garbage, Ryan Adams, and many others. Gigi's also very well known as a very interesting artist for MA consoles, where she creates some very, very interesting covers for the consoles out of E-tape. And my absolute all-time favorite is the Spider-Man one. It's way, way cool. So welcome, Gigi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So besides being a cool artist, Gigi's got a very cool background. So what was your first show as a designer?
My first show as a designer was the very first show I ever did lighting because I didn't know any better. I was like 19 years old and I went to do lights for a band. It happens that I had to set up the lights and change the colors. Sounds obvious now, but at the time, was not. So I guess it was my very first show. Yeah, it was a band in my hometown called La Ruda Salska. It's a ska punk band from early 2000. Yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty fun.
Awesome. It's just jump right into it. So in your years of touring, what is your most spinal tap or embarrassing moment that you're willing to talk about?
There's so many, from the kabuki stuck to the tour bus that caught fire on the side of the road to the artist firing the tour manager during a song on stage. Or I guess the most embarrassing for me was that day when I got food poisoning in Arizona and my lighting tech, a friend of ours, was holding a garbage can in my hair while I was running the lights so I can puke and operate the show at the same time. So that was pretty embarrassing, I guess.
That's memorable.
Yeah.
Although the bus on fire, that's got to be a good story too.
Man, it happened to so many of us on tour.
So what's the best advice anybody's given you professionally or otherwise?
Well, I guess lower your expectations so you're never disappointed. It's a good one. It's dark, but I'm French and French people are dark. Also, sometimes we run and we don't stop and smell the roses. I think that's a good advice that I got one day, like just sit there for a minute, just smell the roses and just enjoy. Right.
Cool.
Stop running.
What's your proudest achievement professionally?
Well, my career is my proudest achievement professionally, I would say, but what touched me the most is when the artists after the show tell me that they felt the lighting, they felt that I was here with them. That's my proudest accomplishment. Just being able to, for their music to have a background of light, like to be part of it, push them up, push the music up, and make them be more dramatic because the lighting is gonna follow the music. It's,
that's awesome.
That's what I like. That's what I like the most when
they feed off of it. That's great. So when you're not working like crazy, what do you do in your downtime?
I like to cook. It's a recent passion, but I love to cook and watch a lot of TV, which can be good or bad. I train a lot. I've been doing the MA free training and taking classes and looking at new technology and trying to stay relevant in my field or others. Lately I've been watching classes on the Black Plague in the medieval literature. So, we knew I would be interested in medieval literature, but find new hobbies all the time, I guess.
That's
Some
cool.
random, gardening, cooking with the proudest in the garden,
Hmm.
things I've never done before. Because was on tour.
There's a lot of gardens being made this year.
Yes. Yep.
In your travels, what's the best venue that you've worked in?
That's tricky because some venues are great because they are technically performant and have a lot of lighting and it's very clean and all that. Some venues are awesome just because of the history of it. I like always doing shows at the 930 Club in DC because the history of their rock music, every band played there, every.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in that building, you feel it. It's a thing. Also, I saw Jan Mackey up there next to me at front of us one day, and I'm a big Fugazi fan, so that would be stuck in my head forever. The same people from 930 open a new venue. It's the Anthem, also in Washington D.C. Stunning venue, great people, great crew, great catering, great everything. There's also places that are not venues that I really liked. I get the chance to do a show at the Mona Contemporary Museum in Hobart in Tasmania, which
cool.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. I cried all day. It was such a privilege to be able to do that. And a show in the Cine Opera House, I just went after the show. You're on the terrace in the Cine Opera House looking at the harbor. There's a feeling there that can't be replicated.
That's awesome.
So,
those are special.
There's so many more.
Yeah,
there's so many more great venues with
that's
character
cool.
all around the world.
So in this kind
not so much for I'm just not so much for like the sports arenas.
Right.
Still cold and empty.
Understood. So in this time of quarantine, what's the one artist or album that you just couldn't do without?
I listen to music all the time, but I would say I've been listening to the last show I went to see before all went down was Mets and Refused in LA. Mets is a band I love. It's very aggressive, but it really expressed my feeling lately. Also the new L7 record, I love it. I always loved L7 since I'm a teenager. Listen to some Patty Larkins also to just mellow out sometimes.
Cool.
Yeah, there's so many music to be listened right now. There's a lot of time for that. That's great.
There is. All right, so number 8. So if you could go back in time, what advice would you give a teenage version of yourself?
Well, first, never start smoking because stop smoking is very hard.
Very good advice.
So do not touch a cigarette, young Gigi. Do not, because 40 years later, you might be able to not stop, and it's gonna be very hard. Also, maybe probably give myself that architecture degree I always wanted. I just went on tour and didn't pursue that, but
there's always
maybe
time.
Hang out. Oh yeah, there's always time. But yeah, don't stop smoking and work better at school. Like
that's sound advice. If you had an opportunity to sit down for a cup of coffee with anybody, either still alive or past, who would it be?
That also is a tricky question. I would say just like this, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because I've been watching a lot of movies with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson lately, and why not? But more seriously, I would say James Turrell. I have so much question for him. So many questions.
That's awesome. All right, so your country's called. It's time for the Olympics. What sport would you be performing in?
I'm not into sports. I played a video game, sports on the video game, but I would say that shooting sports, when they lay down on, I don't even know what it's called, the shooting. I get a good eyesight. So
That's
But
cool.
running, swimming, all that, it's just, I guess, I guess shooting rifles.
That's good. I can't think of what that's called either off the top of my head, and I should know that, but I don't.
I have no idea. But yeah, it would be just the one sport because I'm really bad at everything physical except unloading a truck and set up my loading rig. The rest is just me.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Gigi. Thank you very much. It's always great to see you, and hopefully we actually can see each other for real soon. All right.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Be well. Take care, Gigi.
Thank you. You too. Bye.